I'm sorry. But I don't want to be an emperor. That's not my business. I don't want to rule or conquer anyone. I should like to help everyone if possible. Jew, Gentile, black man, white. We all want to help one another. Human beings are like that. We want to live by each other's happiness, not by each other's misery. We don't want to hate and despise one another. In this world there's room for everyone, and the good earth is rich and can provide for everyone. The way of life can be free and beautiful, but we have lost the way. Greed has poisoned men's souls.
So this excerpt was taken out of Charlie Chaplin's speech from the famous film The Great Dictator, which was written in 1940. The speech was made in opposition to fascism in World War II. Through his words, Charlie Chaplin tried to give a voice to the oppressed in hopes for a more democratic state worldwide in the years to come. I thought the speech was very relevant to our classroom because it showed how an art piece could give a voice to those who would otherwise not be heard, which I think was a great lesson I learned in the course.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I feel like this is a common theme that we were able to see throughout nearly all of the exhibits that we visited this semester. I think especially with Diane Arbus, just her ability to capture the story and just everything about an individual without them having to use their voice, without them having to say anything to her. Just her ability to have a completely human connection with another person, just entirely based on maybe eye contact or a passing encounter in the street. I thought that was something that's really amazing. And also, when you look at the play, we went to see the death of the last black man in the whole entire world. The entire thing was about giving a voice to those that have been oppressed throughout history, to a group that even to this day is oppressed, and that there needs to be commentary about, there needs to be art created in order to give a voice to those that wouldn't normally have one.
Yeah, I think both of those events definitely challenged the way I looked at art and took me out of my comfort zone. For the play, I remember when I first watched it, I was very confused coming out of it, but after the discussions we had in class, I realized that that was probably the feeling I was supposed to come out with, because racism is an issue that is multifaceted and too complex for the outsider to understand. And I think that black people, both then and now in our society, are often misunderstood, and that's why I think the play was a perfect depiction of this issue, because it's not something that we all can understand. In terms of the gallery, I thought it took me out of my comfort zone because Diane Arbus was capturing people in their most intimate states, whether it was physically not clothed or whether it was mentally. She took photographs of people who were clearly distressed, in pain, or others who were in complete love. And I think that both the play and the gallery were eye-opening because it taught me that sometimes when you hear the voices of those who are disregarded or oppressed, it can be uncomfortable, and that may be why they are so often ignored, because people don't want to put themselves in such an unpleasant state.
On the topic of displaying people in their most honest and intimate forms, I really enjoyed the film about Miguel Pinheiro and its ability to do that, because I feel like it gave an honest, accurate depiction of what his life was like. It was harsh, it was rough, it was filled with struggles and obstacles. It wasn't this romanticized Hollywood version of his life. And I feel like not only did it show the poet in his raw form, but it showed his environment as well. It showed New York City, the grimier, darker side of it that, I'm personally unfamiliar with.
That was actually what I focused on in my photo journal. I titled it The New York City Hustle, and basically what I tried to do was capture the work that goes on behind the scenes into making the great big city that everybody knows and loves. When people think of New York City, they think of tall buildings and flashing lights, but people often forget to consider the people that constructed those tall buildings or created those flashing lights. And even more so, I think the trip to Ketty Artist Gallery was extremely useful in creating my photo journal because she challenged the way I viewed photography. She excelled her works with propaganda because she knew how to place herself in the shoes of her viewers. She managed to manipulate her paintings so that the recipients would see what she wanted them to see, understand only the knowledge that she put in their heads. This is why she was remarkable. She managed to take the extra step in understanding the concept of how a viewer attempts to craft their perception to more accurately see what an artist is trying to convey. Similarly, I tried to put myself in the shoes of my viewers and capture images that would allow them to understand the work that goes on behind the scenes to create the magnificent city that New York is today.
I definitely agree with that, and I also think Ketty Horna, Diane Arbus, all of the performances and all of the exhibits we saw, I feel like they all kind of presented a different perspective on art, or at least that I was used to. I personally have never taken an art class before. I've never been exposed to these types of things, and I feel that even for those who do have a background in art, going around the city and kind of seeing some current exhibits, current performances, things that challenge what they would consider the regular and natural art forms, I think that was very valuable to us as college students.